So this is a video on backgrounds for mangas. So we're gonna look at these three series of manga to kind of have a idea on how to save time and energy for doing background. So we're gonna start on the left maybe with the Jan by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. So if you don't know, this is a series of 4 manga. I only have 3 because the fourth one is super expensive right now on second hand. But maybe there will be some republishing. So don't spend too much money. Wait for republishing. So you see, this manga is really beautiful because it does watercolor. So you can see in terms of how many elements and lines necessary to create the background, it's actually kind of minimalistic. You know, compared to like Kentaro Miura, Berserk, or Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo, who does every window, everything, every building, every so many mangakas, they don't want to waste too much time doing very detailed backgrounds. So some they use photos like Inyo Asano, but others they just work with the composition and leaving some space so the art breathe is not too confused to read, to identify the characters in the background and the action. So it's actually a skill, you know, to not cluster, like put too many things, because manga or comics, the important part is mostly the story, the characters, what they say, the expression, the mood, and the harmony, you know. So sometimes you don't put background, very just a little bit of something under the character. Many mangakas, they put background just here and there when they want to let us know where we are. And for many other panels, you see they don't put background, or just something to not have it completely empty, you know, like here or here, some elements. But you see he could have done all the wall with the everything, but it doesn't bother to do what is not necessary for following the story, you know. So it's also something to learn not to be perfectionist, not to become obsessed with every little detail, finishing every stone. And you see here, you would want to do the line for the stone going on the perspective, so you just use a few, but not everywhere, you know. Or here on the foreground, instead of finishing and putting a lot of blades of grass and everything, just leave some room, you know, some space. Even on characters, you know, you didn't draw the ears or the feet, and this makes this manga, this series of manga, very artistic, very beautiful to look at. Each page is very elegant, a lot of class. You see, well, he used watercolor, so it brings more than just the art, but you get the point. See, for the background, if you compare this to also like Vagabond by Takehiko Inoue, for example, who does every blades of grass, every tree, every leaf, you know, it's very heavy work, so it's good to learn some skills to give some room for the drawing and save some time and energy also, to focus more on finishing pages at the kind of even kind of the quality stays even, it doesn't go too much up or down, or you don't get burned out. So this is Jeanne. The other volumes are the same quality, because I think it did this manga many years after being already very skilled working on Gundam. So you see a few more pages. So here he uses a little bit more background, but still, you see, it doesn't finish everything. So the next one will be his other work, Jesus. Similar style, but set in the Jesus story. So it's not a middle-age Europe. Jeanne is about Jeanne d'Arc and King of France and England and stuff. So you see it's a lot of emptiness used. He draws very beautiful trees also. See, I feel it's like he nailed the composition, because he's so good at composition, so he doesn't have to waste a lot of energy on every detail. If the composition is good, then the beauty is already in the design of the elements on the panel. So you don't need to overdo it with every little detail. You see this very good pages here. Well, I won't spoil it because I think it's the last one. And we're gonna look at the third one, which is if you saw my video on the art book Gadgetry by Shiromiwa, this is his manga. So this is the volume 10. So let's look at volume 1 and volume 10 to see the difference. So first, volume 1. So you see begins his manga. So in the beginning you see he does more the background. You see, put more work into the backgrounds, and the composition is more like a classic angles and like a little bit like a school project. Very good, but still you're gonna see what I mean when you see his later volumes. Here you start to see the direction. You see a few lines for the background, for the interiors. Also here there is a lot of work here, but you use black and white and doesn't put a lot of screen tones. Here you have one with quite detailed and screen tones. So there's a lot of focus on the characters. When you compare to Jan and Jesus, where the artist use a lot of mood through landscapes and panels where there is some words without characters. So it's more about setting the mood, but this is very action focused, so it's a lot about the characters jumping around. Here's some noise screen tones, no background really, but just some screen tone. And already you see by the end of the volume, you see the energy is much higher and the panels are very different than in the beginning. It's like he very quickly releases kind of a schoolery, good student kind of way of doing the pages. In the beginning you see it's very flat and controlled and basic. You see the faces, the shots, the composition. And at the end you see it's bigger panels, more focused on the characters, details. You see more style. It's very much about style. So this is volume 1. Let's look at volume 10. We're gonna see the difference. It's very black and white, using the black and white as contrasting each other. So you see even the background is just black and white. Here it's just a lot of white, not much detail, no screen tones. So it's not like I want to exactly do my manga like that, but for backgrounds I want to save energy and time, because if you have a story you want to tell as a comic or a manga, you don't want to end up like George R. R. Martin, who cannot finish Game of Thrones, something. You want to have a good rhythm. Oh, poor Kentaro Miura also died before he could finish Berserk. He was very perfectionist, which is great for his masterpiece, kind of, but now we just hope his friends and assistants will finish the story. We're gonna look at a few other volumes, maybe 8. Let's look at 8. So it's very action focused, so there's mostly no background or just some random very minimalistic let me find some background somewhere, but you see there's not much. You see just a little bit of setting, where are we, what's going on, and then action. Here also, where are we, so we put some background. So it's basically at the beginning of a scene that change location, or when you come back to another previous location, you put some background, and then you can avoid it altogether, or just put some little elements, but not much work. Yeah, you see. Is there another? This is very if you compare that to, Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo, he does every background, everything. So this was a little video on saving energy for backgrounds. So we have these two, and dogs also. So if you want to check it out on the online or on paper, so please like, subscribe, everything YouTube, and have a good day.